So, all right, here we are. So, this is another episode of the Uncivilized Art Podcast. I'm your host, Bumi Hazan, but I go by Bandit Haze in the online space. And today, I have a guest, as you can see if you are watching this, or hear if you're listening. You'll be able to hear in a moment. But yeah, Michael, or Maku.
Hey,
How should I say it, by the way? Because I've seen you write it in a few different ways. So, Michael, Maku, Maiku.
it's
How
actually Maiku. Yeah,
is
yeah.
Michael? Okay.
I've traveled in Asia. Then when I went, I think my first trip in Asia was in Japan, and we had a kind of group of friends, and then they used to call me Maiku, and I was like, huh, I like that. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep that. So like with the accents, I mean, they probably can say Mike properly, but they went with the Japanese way and they called me like Maiku, and I was like, yeah, I like that. Yeah, yeah, cool. That's gonna be my nickname now.
Cool,
So
Michael.
yeah, that's the one. Maiku. So it's Maiku or Michael or Mikael if you're French.
Be careful. But you are a martial artist, and you've been. I know you teach and you appear in movies. You know you. So how did that start with you with martial arts? Like, what was the what got you into that to begin with?
Wow. I say it's gonna be because of my dad. I grew up, like this. You probably grew up the same, with all this videotape.
Mm,
Back then, we didn't have Netflix and everything. We had like you go to your dad's library and then you check like any videos. And I think a good 60% of it was like Chinese martial art. All these kung fu movies, Bruce Lee's, Jackie Chan, and everything.
mm,
So it probably came from that because I was like constantly rewatching the same movies over and over again, and all of them was like martial arts, fighting stuff. So it probably started from there. Then I start training with kung fu. Uh, my first martial art was kung fu. The problem is back then it was very expensive and kind of far away from where I used to live. I used to live in a suburb, in a place called Bagneux, which is like about 20 minutes from Paris. Sorry, I have a sore throat, so you're gonna see me drink a lot
mm,
today. So I start from there, but it was kind of very expensive. So I went local, and I had either judo, karate, or taekwondo. And for me, judo was a lot of spending too much time on the floor. Karate was like too square, and taekwondo people were just like flying around doing like 360 kick, and I was like, okay, that I want to do that, and that was it. That was it. I'm talking to you about this. This is 2002 or 2003, though. Yeah, this is all starting since this area, 2002, I guess, or 2003.
okay.
Oh no, it was. Yeah, no, it was that. It was kind of this. Yeah, about this time, about 20 years ago. Wow, hell, cool.
All right. So, what's the martial arts scene like in France? Because I guess when people think of France, we don't necessarily think of martial arts. We think of like baguettes and croissants, and
Uh,
we really think of like kung fu and so. Is it a big thing over there? Is it more just only a few places that teach it?
oh yeah, no, it's still pretty much big things. Taekwondo as well. Not all martial arts. They all have the huge community. I would say in France, it's easier to find a decent club to train any martial art because you have more facilities to like the not just the wooden floor. You will have a facility with one room the wooden floor, one room with the tatami. How do you call that in English? Mat, basically
Okay,
mat.
yeah.
It's much easier to find this in France because probably every community have like two or three. So back then it was kind of easy to find something very suitable. So let me turn off my phone, otherwise it's going to be buzzers. And so yeah, that was. But here, as you know, I'm a taekwondo teacher, and the only things I could find suitable was kind of a sports hall, but it's kind of the place where people go there to play, you know, football, basketball, like indoors kind of stuff.
Mm.
And so you will find a place like this a lot here. But in France, it's just easier if you want to open your place. It's easier to find a place with like proper mat and everything. So yeah, I would say France is even. the community is even bigger.
Okay.
Like for martial arts, I mean, especially Paris. Not talking about all France, but especially Paris.
Yeah.
You can have a big community for martial art.
Yeah, I guess with Paris being like the major city, a lot of things are going to be kind of there. And but you grew up in Paris, or did you grow up in Paris? I think
Paris, yeah,
you was
the
grew up in
suburb
Paris. Okay,
mainly, but
okay.
yeah, Paris.
All right. So one of the things I always hear about martial arts as somebody who watches bunch of movies but never actually take any lessons. But the things like discipline comes up a lot, and dedication and stuff like that. But and for yourself, like being inspired by these movies that you found that your dad had, and then going into taking lessons for yourself. Sort of 20 years ago, was that something that you already had down in terms of being disciplined, or was that something that you had to learn as you went along, or how's that for you in terms of that stick? Because I see some of the training, and I guess a lot of it looks like it can be quite tough, quite strenuous, and a lot of people I imagine give up very early on. So for yourself,
Mm.
like trying to stay through it, how's that for you with the discipline and the dedication and so on?
Well, like I told you, I've been doing it for 20 years, so I've seen hundreds of people in and out and in again, and then break for a few years and come back again. People, martial art, you have for kids, for teenagers, and for adults. So for kids, it's simple. I mean, you still have to learn the same things: the discipline, the outgoing, the improvement of your own self for all this group. Okay, I always see it as three groups. Especially now I'm teaching, I always see it as three groups. So you have kids, teenagers, and adults. So kids, you have to make it entertaining. You have to make it fun. All right, they need to come here, have a good time, but same time they need to learn, the structure, follow the step. Now I know how to do 5 push-ups. Next week I'm gonna learn how to do 6 push-ups. The week after maybe 7, and then this is this for like everything. Teenagers, you have to make it cool. They have to look cool. If they don't look cool,
Yeah.
like some of them they're gonna be like, yeah, like maybe, but they have to look cool. Like do the kick, hold it there, do it like 30 times just in the air, bam, bam, bam. They have to look cool. Adult, they always like they have a target driven. Sometimes it's socials, sometimes it's like fitness. I'm training as well people to register for stunts. That's another subject. Anyway, so to
Okay,
go
we
on
could
to
talk about that in a
stunts,
bit.
to go into stunt, you need like 6 disciplines. So one martial arts, one gonna be like rock climbing, driving, horse riding, swimming, high diving. You need gymnastic. There is so many disciplines, but you need a good 6. So lots of people come to me for martial arts because I'm teaching martial art, and also I have a good experience in screen combat because a lot of people they're like, yeah, I'm good at fighting. I know so a lot of people, yeah, I'm good at punching. I can punch, but they come into the set and they're doing like something else, and you're like, dude, this is screen fighting. You have to look real, but this is not real. So the mindset has to change, and this is like a something else. Anyway, to go back into it, just saying like martial arts, yeah, there is always three ways, three thing, three way to see it for kids, for teen, and for adult. And you see a lot of, especially for all the group, you see a lot of people join because their friend join.
Yeah, yeah.
So this group, they're not gonna last. Like 80% of them at the first minute they're going to quit because they start with the wrong reason. A good 20% of them, they're like, I just joined because of my friend, but wow, this is what I like. This is my things. There is some kids like that, some adults, and I saw couples. Oh, my boyfriend doing it, my girlfriend doing it, so I'm going to do it with her. Then they break up. So one of them stay, one of them gone. It could
Yeah.
be like either one. There is the crazy people like me that grew up watching martial arts. This is gonna be 50-50. Some people they saw like the new Matrix movie and they're like, I want to do that, but they only want the end. They don't want the full long
Yeah.
process. I want to come here. I want to fight 5 people at the same time. Cool. Try to fight yourself first. Then try to fight one people, and try to fight two. But all of this maybe gonna take you, I don't know, 4 5 years. You know what I mean? But a lot of people they come here for the wrong reason. So some people come for fitness. They just want fitness because they know you're pushing a lot. Some people come from social. Oh yeah, I saw that kid's coming, or I know that people coming. They have a good one, and then they go for that. So yeah, mainly that's the reason why people join martial
Okay.
arts. And yes, self
So
defense, self
so
defense of course.
so back when you started 20 years ago, were you sort of a kid, or was you a child, or was you like more teenage years when you started?
Um, big teenage, big teenage. I think I was
Teenage.
like 16, 17, something like that. Big
So for you,
teenage. Yeah, no, I was not like with the code. I had a good mentality, but I was like I said, like the kind of guy I want to come here. I want to do like jump in the air, do 7 kick in the air, go to all the competition and all of this. So I learned my lessons the hard ways, but no, I was not like one of the good kids. I was probably one of the bad kids, like low patience, ready to do everything, want to be in the front of the row all of the time. I was that kind of kid, but I've learned. I've learned.
so how did you learn that patience and discipline? Like, what was the thing that made you be like, okay, I need to change my attitude?
Consistency, I guess, and experience. Consistency. Yeah. Just when you face some things, you face a situation, and then you do it all wrong, and then you have to sit back and you're like, shit, what did I do wrong? What just happened? And then the more you reflect on yourself, you're like, okay, cool. Maybe I do that again, but now I have to chill and everything. So it's step by step. The things I said a lot about parents when they drop me the kids is like they don't come here to fight other people. They come to my place to fight themselves. And that's only gonna be yourself is your own enemies, the one you're going to fight with every day. You wake up, what do? Do you do your bed? That's the first fight. You wake up, you do your bed, okay, first fight. You
Okay,
brush your
yeah.
teeth, that's the second fight. You come, it's very cold outside, it's rainy, it's cold. You still go outside to go to the place and to train. That's another fight. So I like to put it as you fight yourself. Like I said about the push-ups, um, my wife is a good example. Like she just had her black belt few months ago, September. Yeah, September. Oh my God, it's flying. And she knew that on the black belt test, she would have to do 50 push-up at once. And she was like, "I can barely do two. How can I? How am I gonna do 50?" Because her mind is like, "Just do 50." Out of nowhere, just do 50. And I'm like, "No, no. Let's train at home. We're gonna start to do two, just two." So she did two, which was very crap. Her bum was in the air. One hand was like this, one hand was like this. I'm like, cool, let's correct that. So we put properly, go all the way to the floor, then all the way up. I'm like, good, you did two. Then two again. Then by the day, we increase. And then on the test, she just did like 50, like nothing happened. Because a lot of people, they want to start and they're like, okay, I want to start. I have one example here. I want to start with white belts. And tomorrow I want to have a black belt. But they're like, no, no, just take this and then change the color, change the grade slowly but slowly. Martial arts is just about you are there, next time you are there. But you keep going doing this at any pace you want, but you keep doing this. So yeah, mainly that's the idea of martial art. One thing about Taekwondo as well is something I've learned in Korea is someone told me, like one of the teacher told me, uh, black belt, because I was keep talking about black belt. When I went there, I was red belt, and I trained like for 1 year, and I keep saying, yeah, when is the grading? Do you think I'm ready? And then the teacher told me one thing is when I just sit down and I was like, okay, cool, now I'm gonna chill. He said, black belt, you start. Sorry, you get yellow belt. So yellow belt is the first belt for Taekwondo. You get your yellow belt, you start Taekwondo. You get black belt, you start martial art. And I was like, like when in your mind is like, yeah, black
Okay.
belt, you eat. This is it. This is black belt. It's like, no, no, no. When you get black belt, you've just started martial arts. And I was like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. And
Okay.
yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
Since there, like my mind is like really set. Just
So hello, we still there? Yeah, Michael. Oh, what's going on? I think we might be having technical difficulties. Uh, damn, what's going on? Mike, I'm not sure if you could hear me, but it seems to have cut off, and I don't know why. Oof. Oh, mate, this is okay. Sorry, guys, we're trying to get back in. We're okay. I think okay,
I
we
see we're
back.
back.
We back.
I
Okay,
have a
cool. We're back. We're back. I don't know what happened there, but
I have a very very bad connection, so probably for me.
oh, okay.
Probably.
Trying that. Well, hopefully that's the loss of that. But cool. All right. So yeah, no, I like you say that actually. You know, the whole thing about you know, when you start, that was at the yellow belt. But then when you start the taekwondo, that's the yellow belt. But when you get to black belt, that's when you start martial arts. Because I guess that's that it doesn't really stop. And I think when you look at a lot of martial artists, you know, they don't just get to a black belt, or a lot of the top martial artists rather, they don't just get to a black belt and it's like, oh well, I'm done now. That's it. Go home. Like you do an exam and then that's it for the rest of your life. You know,
Yeah,
it's a continuing journey of improvement.
yeah, yeah,
And you know, the thing you said about fighting yourself, I feel like that's something that transfers over into pretty much everything we do because we it's so easy for us to get to focus on like doing what that person does or having that thing or like you say you watched a movie and you think I want to do that and how do I get there or that person could do that, why can't I do that, I want to do, you know, when really the truth is it is about what are you doing, you know, that first step, getting out of bed. You know, how many times we wake up and be like, oh, I just can't be bothered today. So it's that first step, get out of bed, one victory, next step, I don't know, brush your teeth or whatever, next victory, you know what I mean? Just constant, these battles that we have internally with ourselves. And then, all like I said, with the
everything.
training, just like, okay, it's raining today, should I go running? Put your coat on, put your raincoat on, you keep going. That's your just taking that first step outside your house, that's your next victory, you know? So
True.
yeah, I feel like that's something that we all kind of go through. Well, we in some way we don't necessarily think about it in that way, but you know these kind of internal battles that we have every day that we just need to keep telling ourselves that we need. Okay, next thing to get over, next thing to get over, next thing to get over. You keep doing that, you know, one day at a time, and then eventually, you know, you get to this point where you started off on, like you say, doing 2 push-ups. Eventually, you get to a point you could do 50 without even thinking about it. You know.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's mainly what it's about. Another thing is uh, I start doing a kind of friendly competition. Like now, I'm doing this with a friend of mine. He has his club, so I have my club. I have two clubs. My friend has two or three clubs, I think. And I'm like, listen, I have kids and adults. You have kids and adults. Let's meet every 6 months and we do a friendly competition. So I invite all my students, he invite all the students. That's going to happen this Sunday, by the way, 13th of November. And I all I invite most of my students. Some of them that just literally started like 2 weeks ago. So I said, like, okay, wait a bit. But the one that has like 1 or 2 months, I'm like, please come because all of them they're like, yeah, but I just started, and I'm like, it's not about you going there and get a gold medal. It's just about you training yourself to achieve a goal. And then from that goal, even after what happened, you already have this goal inside you. The medals have few there. I don't know if you can see them. Is it? Can you move over there?
Oh yeah. I see him. I see him at the
Yeah,
top.
I just have few there. But anyway, the medals is not you keep them, you put them somewhere. They're taking this. They don't change anything. But what you're going to do to train every single day until that competition, you will keep it for your life. So that's why I like to do this because now we motivate the kids and adults to have another goal else than just grading. You know, some people are just train, grading, trade grading. I'm like, no. I need to give you another purpose. You know, it's not like if it's like the stunt people that I'm training to do fight scene, I'm like, okay, this is fine. They train, they do on camera action, is fine. But some people that just train, for social or just for themselves, and I'm like, still, it's good for you to go there, meet some people you never met, and do some sparring competition or some pattern competition. And yeah, we did it last year. It went very well. So now we're doing it every 6 months. So it's good to have a little goal, just to keep you going.
Okay. So those are competitions because I mean, this might be an interesting segue into sort of martial arts movies because you see these things in the martial arts. Is it? I mean, like you say it's friendly competition, so I guess it's maybe not quite like in the movies, but do you have these same sorts of things like in like Karate Kid where you got the two dojos and they face each other, or some of the old school kung fu movies where it's like the teacher gets dishonored, so now the students have to make up for that. Is there anything like that, or any even a little inkling?
Not even close. I mean, first of all, Karate Kid. You're talking about what, the movie or the TV series?
Well, I guess a bit of both. I mean, I guess more the TV show because they had the last season where they had things like the Miyagi Dojo with
Dojo versus the new Cobra Kai dojo.
Eagle Fang Karate
Oh
versus
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Cobra Kai, and and they had to compete to get into this competition, and they both got it in the end because the guys was impressed by both of them.
Yeah, well, first of all, this kind of karate, they have a bit more protection in the hand, and I don't think they mix boys and girls as well. They don't mix boys and girls. At this one you can see like a boy fighting a girl. Usually, this kind of sparring, if it's like a inter club, like my club versus your club, yeah, you can do this. But if it's like the big old valley competition, you wouldn't have all people from every single size, every single bait fighting each other. No, they have more like categories. But no, even that movie with Jackie Chan, like Karate Kid, you see them doing kung fu, and I was like, okay, what kind of kung fu is that? Because usually kung fu competition, they don't just fight. They just like one guy in the middle doing like a pattern, and then if he's good, he pass. If he's not good, he just doesn't pass. Or you have Sanda, which is kind of Chinese boxing, but this they have like proper meat and glove chin. So nobody in the movie they like to put like when they do competition, it's like bare hands and everybody fight. I think the only one doing this now is Kyokushin Kai, which is a very tough kind of karate. They probably have other small one, but mostly the big one they do like bare knuckles is that karate. The rest, taekwondo, jeet kundo, kung fu, some other karate, they all have a lot of protection. So yeah, the movie like to make it cool, but the reality is a bit less cool.
Yeah. Well, those bare knuckle ones, I imagine they. I mean, I'd have to assume that it's not too many places where that's legal. Like it just sounds like something that, like, are you gonna have the maddest insurance trying to get two people to fight bare knuckle? So I don't
Yeah,
know. Is that legal in a lot of places or?
and it's it would be probably legal as long as you put it at a martial art way. But when you go that big, when you want to have like a community or a federation to help you and to give you money, they're gonna look at you. They're gonna say, okay, what's the rules? Oh, no protection. Okay, never mind. We cancel the whole thing. If you want to do it indoor, your club versus another club, put it as a martial art. You're totally free to do it. It's
Oh,
legal.
okay, yeah,
Do it. But when you want to put it big, like to make like a big competition, when people come and buy the insurance and buy everything, when the federation come and they see like, okay, too much risk to injury and everything, they're just gonna cancel the whole things. You won't get
yeah,
fined. You won't get fined for anything, but yeah, they're mainly gonna cancel the whole things.
yeah. No,
Unfortunately.
yeah, I guess that makes sense as well. Because like a lot of times when it comes to, especially with like sponsorships and brands, people
Yeah,
get very kind of nervous about what they associate their name to, and if it's going to be like this bare knuckle martial arts contest where somebody could get injured badly. And
yeah,
then you got like Coca Cola on it. They're probably
yeah.
like, nah, maybe not, maybe not. That's bad
Maybe not.
PR. So
You know what? That's what happened with Taekwondo, unfortunately. If you watch every video of Taekwondo in a 2000, like a sparring match, and you watch one now, you will see a massive difference. Like there is a big, big difference. Anything 90s Taekwondo, early 2000 Taekwondo, the way they were sparring, and you see what they're doing now, it's a big difference. Why? Because the federation was like, okay, back then, you want to do sparring competition, it's simple. You have to be the kind of guy or the kind of girl that knows how to handle themselves in a real fight. Everyone that doing competition is the people like if they're in the street, somebody come, they can block, and that kick they're gonna give, it's a kick like I'm gonna give you one kick and you're gonna stay on the floor. That was this kind of mind. It's like just one kick, knees, belly, head, just one, and then you're gonna go back to your mom. That was the idea in the 90s, 2000 each. Now they're like, okay, there is this amount of people in the world that can handle themselves, and there is this amount of people that want to do martial art, that are ready to give us the money, because every time you apply for a black belt, we have to pay the federation, right? Every time you want to do a competition, we pay the federation. So we like the more people we can get, the more money we're gonna have. Cool. Let's make protection everywhere. Protection, 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 protection. And now you see, now they have electronic gears. Back then, you have one referee in the middle, one in each corner. So basically, five referees. So one in the middle checking when there is a point. That's for blue. That's for red. Means if you have a very hard contact here, like half of there was in the arm, half of there was here. If that hit was a very big one, bah, everybody was like, okay, he got the point. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you have to really have to make sure you hit very hard. Now you have to hit just accuracy, just exactly here or on the side. Your foot has electronic sensors. Body armor has electronic sensors. So basically, if you keep your legs in the air and do like tap, 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 with not not fighting power, just like enough to tap, you can win the match. All you have to do is very flexible, have a good cardio, and boom, 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 boom. That's the taekwondo now. But before, if they have a fighter like this, one guy come and do like tap, 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 he's gonna look at it, what's going on, and then give a massive hit to the head and then knock out. Nowadays, you don't see that much knockout anymore because nobody goes for the kill anymore. No, now you don't really have to know how to handle yourself as long as you have a good
Yeah.
a good cardio. You know the game. You know, like this is 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, 4 point. If you understand this, anybody can go to the Olympics and go to the competition and have some good results.
Okay.
Back then, yeah, you have to be ready for you have to be ready for blood. That was back then, but not anymore. So basically, the easiest they put it, they know that the more people around the world can join Taekwondo and then be part of the federation, and it works. It works. Now you look at the Olympics. They're not people like they're not super fighters. They're like you have like Instagram model, like a lot of makeup, playing cutie, and then going to the real and getting gold medals. When back then, the I remember the woman like the strong woman, they were not like makeup kind of girls doing pictures. They were like, I'm ready to fight. So it was a difference. Is it good? Is it bad? You will find anybody that have a different opinion.
Yeah.
Uh, for me, I think it's good. So more people have more confidence. They won't come to a club and like, okay, I can't do that. I cannot do that. You know what I mean? So they will still come. But the only bad thing is a lot of teachers, they don't train them mentally. They're like, okay, you're gonna go gold medal, but they don't know that now it's more like a game. It's not a fight, it's a game. You know, that sparring one is a game. Don't go in the real world with that sparring world because you're gonna get destroyed. So that's why I'm training. I have a class. When I do sparring mode, I alter them. Okay, we're gonna do a game, which is sparring mode. This is this, and then we do a self-defense class, which is totally different. We're probably gonna use the same kick, but the aim will be totally different. But
Yeah,
yeah,
no, yeah, I think I could say that. Like, on one, the sort of pros and cons of it. On one hand, it makes it more accessible. It
yeah,
means you have less injuries in competition. But then, like you said, you're training for a competition is not the same as training for a real life situation. So if you
true.
take the same mentality into a real life situation where somebody might attack you or muggers and things like that, and your mentality is to kick, but just be an accurate kick to the head, but it's not hard enough to do anything. It's just like maybe like a tap, just enough to set the sensors off.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
not going
yeah,
to do much in that kind of
yeah, yeah,
situation. So,
yeah.
but I guess it goes back to like you were saying, why do people train and the different reasons people train as well. If you're training for just general
True.
fitness and you're not really right about competitions of this, or if you're training because maybe you live in a dangerous area and you are worried about being attacked, you might train different. If you're training purely just for competition and you don't care about the real life situations, just purely care about winning gold medals and things like that, then I guess your mentality is different. But if you're trying to be a well-rounded martial artist where you can be useful in a real life situation, useful in a competition, useful in a film set, I guess the mentality for that is different as well. So yeah, I guess pros and cons, but ultimately down to the individual and why specifically they're training.
True. Yeah, it's very like it's all about which mindset do you have, which goals do you have, which goals do you have, sorry, and then where do you go with that? Where do you go with that? So you didn't do any martial art, you said?
No, so I mean, I still kind of do, but there was definitely a period of time where I watched loads of martial arts movies.
Yeah.
Every now and then I'll put one on these days, but this is back like I think maybe 90s to about mid 2000s ish. There was a lot of Chinese cinema movies, a lot of Japanese cinema movies, and within that, loads of martial arts movies. And I remember one of my favorite things to do at the time was go. We had a big HMV store in Oxford Street, which I think no, it's not still there. 'Cause I mean HMV was well, anyway, it doesn't matter. But yeah, we had this massive HMV store in Oxford Street, and one of my favorite things to do was to go there, and they had a martial arts DVD section. So this would have been maybe around about 2001, 2002, and they had loads of stuff, like mostly stuff that I'd never heard of at the time. But they were like not dirt cheap, but cheap enough where you can buy it and not worry about if it's any good or not. So I would just pick out stuff that looked cool from the cover, or if I heard of that, actor, or if I knew about that but for another film. So I'll just pick out maybe 3, 4 DVDs,
Yeah.
go home and watch them. And you definitely end up buying a lot of crap doing that, right? But then you got a few good ones as well, like Five Pattern Dragon Claws, Method Man. Which, by the way, I thought Method Man was the movie that Method Man named himself after, because I know the whole Wu-Tang Clan was into martial arts as well.
Yeah.
But no, apparently he got his name from some other thing. But yeah, there is a martial arts film called Method Man. I can't remember a lot of them right now, but yeah, there was so many. One was it one 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 thing, no, but one foot boxer, I think one was called. Uh, Mate, there was loads. There was stuff with Casanova Wong, Jackie
They had so
Chan,
many,
of
but
course, and yeah, there was so many.
yeah.
Huang Zhangli was in quite a few as well.
Mm.
So yeah, and I was big in. Well, like I said, I still watch them, but back then I was really big into just like watching martial arts movies. My brothers did like taekwondo for a little while, but yeah, I never took lessons myself. I was just watch them, and I mean, I guess
No,
to be fair, it kind of goes back to like
you
Karate
have to
Kid when
come
I
back
watched that
to
in the
it.
eighties.
You have to come back to it.
But
You
for
should try my
yourself,
class. Huh?
well,
Oh, sorry.
hey, never say never, never say never.
Never say never. Yeah. Never say
Never
never.
too late, right?
Mm-mm-mm.
But for yourself, then, like you said, you got into it through martial arts movies. Wait, what was like your favorite martial arts movie, or who would you say as a martial arts actor was like your biggest inspiration?
I only have Jackie Chan in the top of my head. There are probably I saw like hundred of movies with different actors, but if you would talk, yeah, I would say Jackie Chan. I really grew up. My dad like has like a whole collection of Jackie Chan movies, like a whole an entire. it had like storage, but one of the layers was just like Jackie Chan, Jackie Chan, Jackie Chan, Jackie Chan. So I kind of I kind of grew up with it. I watched Bruce Lee and Jet Li and Donnie Yen as well back in the 90s and everything.
Mm.
But Jackie Chan was really the one I connected. My favorite movie, I think I'm gonna say Police Story 2.
Okay. Is that the
Oh
one with Michelle Yeoh?
no, that's Police Story 3.
Oh, okay, okay.
Police Story 2, he fights some guy with some terrorist, like they're bombing places around, and there was just one fight in like this kids playground with like the sliders and the swing. He fight in there, and I was like, okay, how is that possible? From there, I was like, how is that even possible? I don't know. The fight scene is just one of the craziest. So on top of my head, I could probably talk about it for an hour, but I would say Jackie Chan, Police Story, boom.
Yeah, no, for sure. Jackie Chan was definitely someone that I watched a lot as well. I mean, he was probably amongst the most popular, if not the most popular martial artist at the time, and his work like it was crazy, back then. Like he was putting out movies like it must have been like at least 2 3 movies a year at some point. He's just at
Probably,
so many, like from
probably.
I guess the famous ones would be things like Snake and Eagle's Shadow, Drunken Master, but
Oof,
then
yeah,
of course the Police Story series,
yeah,
Dragons Forever.
yeah.
There's
Nice.
so many he did. He did one. I think it might have been one of the Police Story movies actually, where there's this fight on top of a building, and he's fighting like a whole bunch of like henchmen, they're all wearing suits and stuff. And he's doing some stuff where he's like pulling the tie and stuff like that, and then the guy has to tuck his tie in. But then there's one bit where when you watch it, where there's a guy like on one side of the wall and he's on the other side of the wall, and a guy throws a kick and Jackie Chan ducks it, and it happens so quick when you're watching a movie. But then at the end of the film, when the credits are rolling and they're showing like some of the like outtakes and how things work and stuff like that, and you
Yeah,
find what they actually did was use a fake leg. you know, so like when you watch the film, it looks awesome how quickly
yeah.
everything's moving. It's like, whoa, that kick just came out of nowhere, but it was actually a
Mm.
fake leg. And it's like, oh, that was ruined.
It was one guy with his hand like this, and then the kick was. Is it this one?
Yeah, or stuff like that. Where it's like I feel like there's a punch that comes through, and then like almost instantly there's a kick coming through
Dutch.
afterwards, and it looks
Yeah.
wicked when you watch the film.
Ah,
But
yeah.
there's like, oh, it's a fake leg flipping out.
That's Who Am I believe. Yeah, I think that's Who Am I.
Who am I? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Who am I? Who am I? That's. Listen, you would be amazed to know how much cinema magic there is out there. You're gonna watch a movie, you're like, wow, this is good. This is space. This is another planet. Oh, they are in the desert. Oh, they are in New York. When everything literally can happen. This room is New York. You go to the
Mm,
next room, you like in the desert.
yeah.
Like literally you in Sarah, and you're like, oh man, because now I'm a lot of set, and you would think like, okay, the cheap one they will use very cheap things, like the cheap production. But I've been working on Marvel, on Disney, and on DC, and you're like, wait, they use that for that, and you're like, what? Like no, you will be amazed. You will be amazed. I don't want to spoil too much the magic,
Yeah.
but you will be amazed. Oh my! I saw some things you like. Okay, wow. And then you like when you're on set, you like, okay, this is gonna look so stupid on screen. Then you watch the movie and you're like, where's that scene again? You don't even
Yeah.
know. You're like, where's that stupid scene? Because everything looked so crazy. And I'm not even talking about the CGI. That's
Mm.
another different level. I'm really talking about props. Like I don't know, they can take something like this and then throw it one way, and then you're gonna pretend you're in space just because they put it like that. The light
Yeah.
coming this way.
Change the
It's
background a little bit, move the camera, and then go. Yeah. Yeah.
oh yeah, no, it's crazy. These guys, I don't know when they do the uh, Oscar stuff, you see a lot of sound and actors, but the prop guys or the decoration, they're the real artists. They are
Mm.
the real artists. A lot of movie you're watching, you're like, oh, this is space or this is New York. Half of them are in London. But you
Yeah.
wouldn't know. But you wouldn't know. Yeah, that's that. They're doing good work. They're doing a very, very good work.
Yeah, I saw. There's one movie. I think it's called Ninja, with Scott Adkins, where when you're watching the film, you can tell a lot of it, like a good lot of it, is like CGI when you're watching it. So it's not even a
Yeah,
surprise that it's green screen or whatever. But when you
yeah.
see like the making of afterwards, and you just see like what they're really working with, and you just think like how they make, because like there's scenes where it looks like it's on a roof, but it's actually in a green screen. But even still, they're using like, like a small platform, and they have to, pretend, I guess, like it's at the top of a roof. So like even though it's green screen, watching it because CGI, you watch it because the CGI, it's a martial arts movie. It wasn't big budget, so it's kind of clear when you're watching it. But even still, seeing what they're working with and then how it all looks in the end, it's still pretty impressive.
It is crazy. They are next level. They are really, really, really next level. You still working on movie set as well?
Occasionally, not as much as I used to. I mean, I did a few extra jobs. Like I did one a few weeks ago, and I think the last one before that was maybe months. So I haven't been doing it as much in recent times. But yeah, I still turn up and stand in front of a camera and maybe get to be a blur in the background somewhere. I still do that on occasion.
That little scene we did in the car was good. We should do more of that.
Oh yeah, that I do want to do more of that stuff. So yeah, I was doing like the comedy sketches for a while, and I haven't done that for a good while actually. And I do want to get back to that, but I just feel I
Yeah.
need to get to a place where I can put effort into it and be consistent with it, which I'm not quite there yet. But yeah, no, that is something I do want to get back to because it's fun doing that sort of stuff, and just these videos and yeah.
Cool. Cool. Yeah, we should. This had a lot of potential. So I'm like, we
Yeah,
ha-
for
we
sure.
barely scratched the surface. So we're like, we should do more of that. That was funny. That was very funny.
Well, speaking of acting, well, you do some acting yourself as, I mean, not just appearing in short internet random clips that I might put out once in a while, but you actually, do proper acting in movies and martial arts and stuff like that. So you've gone from watching it on TV to being a martial artist to teaching it to teaching people to be in movies, and then of course being in movies yourself as a martial artist. So for yourself, like what's that transition like, and how do you I mean, do you always make sure that you take your own lessons into the movies that you're in, or do you find that it's completely different because there's maybe a different director now or a different choreographer now, and or how does that work in that sense?
Well, I wouldn't. First of all, I wouldn't call myself actor because I don't have enough credits. It, I do more stunt or action than actually acting because
Okay.
it's two different universe. Even if you're in the same movie, in the same set, the same day, there is the guy that doing acting and the guys that are going to do stunt. It's completely a different universe. I did a lot of no, just few with hard lines, but you understand like the preparation, the when they say action, like where you have to deliver, it's something very very different. Action for me is like easy. What's going to happen? You run here, come here. There is a table here. You get a kick. You roll over the table. You break the glass. You stand up. You did two kick. Grab the guy. Yeah, boom. I can do this in one take. One take. When it comes to the acting, you have to turn around, make that face, be happy, be smart. This is war. This is something else. My aim is to start classes with like a voice coach because I don't know if you can tell I have a massive French accent.
I haven't
And
noticed. I haven't noticed.
you haven't noticed. Okay. Oh yeah, that's good. That's very good then. Good. But yeah, my aim is to try to work on my not about canceling my French accent, but more about how to deliver. Just deliver. Like you always have to deliver a message. How to stand yourself, face expression, articulation, and stuff like that. So yeah, now I'm there. Then you ask me, what is it like to be there? When is your patient? It feels good. It feels right. It literally feels right. I've been in UK for like 10 years, but I've been on set only for like 2 3 years. Before that, I was doing different job. But you know, when you do a job when you're good at, you can do it,
Mm.
but every day you like, this is not me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Literally not me.
yeah,
So I'm
yeah,
keep there every day. You're going to work, and then you're like, okay, I can do this, but this is not me. You know, you feel like your soul is dying. And then one day,
yeah.
I was like, you know what? I talked to my wife. I'm like, I want to do what I always wanted to do with being on set, acting or stunt, and martial art because I've been doing martial art for years. I want to use that as a tool to grow myself, to grow a club, to grow the family. And she was like, "Yeah, go for it." So I'm like, "Okay, good." So it was a very tough few months when you started, but now I'm started to be okay, and then it keep just like martial art. You know, you start
Mm.
there, then you start there, you meet some people, you start there, you meet some people, new experience and everything. I'm doing before you called me, I was doing working on my videos. I'm doing a short video at the moment with it's basically gonna look like a trailer because I film like different places, different people. So now I'm trying to use all the technique I learned on set on how to film an acting scene, how to film an action scene. I'm using all of that to put it on my small video. It's going to be like 3 minutes,
Mm.
but I've been filming it since September. But because it takes so long, because I wanted to film different places at different time,
Yeah, yeah,
I you see a lot of action video. They're just like the good one, yeah, on Instagram and YouTube. You see a good one, but they're just in one place. You know what I mean? You're gonna see a
yeah.
lot of them like action fighters, in one place. But I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna look some things that they're gonna actually look like there is a movie behind. So I'm still working on that, and I hope when I finish, it's gonna look good. I hope.
Uh,
I hope. I
well,
hope.
yeah,
That's the aim.
indeed.
But but listen, if it doesn't look good, I just do another one. As simple as that, and I keep doing.
But it's a learning process, isn't it? You know, like with anything, you start somewhere and you have kind of goals in mind, and it doesn't always come out the way you think it is. But then you learn from where it went wrong, and then next time you
True.
do better. So it's like I feel like the
True.
same sort of
True.
disciplines and attitudes that you had with martial arts are the same sorts of things you can carry over into making films. You know, you start somewhere, you do what you can do with the things you have, and then as you're doing it, the more you do it, the better you get at it, and the more creative you can get
True.
at doing something and figuring out how this works. And just like the movies where you said like they could hold like a thing in front of the screen and make it look like you're in space. You could figure
Yeah.
out maybe things like that. Like, okay, maybe I shoot it this like angle and it could look completely different. And there's all sorts of things that you kind of
Yeah.
learn as you go along.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just that same kind of discipline of sticking with it and having these kind of thoughts and goals and things that you want to achieve in mind and staying focused on that and just constantly moving towards that.
True. 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 Yeah. It's that. It's just what you start with is first of all is your ideas. Everything is
Yeah.
there. Then you have to put it on paper. Then once it's on paper, you have to put it in real.
Mm.
And that's so much different stages. And you have to find the right people. When you find the right people, you have
Mm.
to know when they're available.
Yeah.
Okay. You have the validity, and then you have to find the place. Okay. Then you have to find the costume, the location, the props, the fake gun, the fake blood. You have to find all of that and then put them all together. And I end up so to keep myself motivated and on the right track, I put like everything in front of me. This is like day one, day two, day three, and I have everything in front of me. I was like, okay, I don't even need this paper anymore. But anyway, I keep it there because I like it. It's just like some goal. So I end up canceling some scene, but adding up some new scene. So the,
Mm.
when you put it on paper and when you put it in real, it could look completely different. But
Mm.
it's good. I hope it's gonna turn good. I really really hope it's gonna turn good.
Yeah, indeed, and I mean, yeah, I mean, things are going to change as you go along, and I feel like the creative process is always ever evolving as your ideas change and as new things come to you. So, how your original idea and how that started off with might not necessarily reflect the final products, and that's fine, because you're allowed to kind of evolve and see things differently and be like, oh, actually, maybe this works better. This way rather than doing it that way and so on, and how things look on paper to how things are in real life could be completely different, because when you're writing, and then when you're reading it out, you might find that like certain words when you say them together just don't sound right, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
they're
yeah.
just it's you gotta always explain why, but they just don't sound right when you put certain words together. So you go, okay, do it in a different order, or maybe say something else. So you could always evolve and adapt as you go along. But I think
True.
the main thing is that you just keep moving towards the goal, even if it changes slightly. That's fine.
Yeah, you have to be focused. You have to push yourself. You have to push yourself and just do. I mean, I've seen a lot of. Not that I see myself as big as it's going to be like Spielberg or Tim Burton, but a lot of them, when you watch the very first video, they did like a very short, shitty video. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was like a very short video of Star Wars when he was filming at his university or his campus, like George Lucas. I don't know when I saw that, but I think it's still out there somewhere. But it's basically him moving the camera in the campus, and people are passing by, and then they have like funny names. But his idea was like, okay, we are in space. This is like a space station, and people are passing by, and people are making like funny alien nose. So you know what I mean? Like he had his idea, he just didn't have the budget. But as long as he had his idea, I'm gonna keep doing that, keep doing that, keep doing that. And yeah, that's it. That's it. You need to have your idea. You have to believe in yourself and be constant, and then keep chasing. And we see what's going on.
Indeed, it's gonna show you just gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, true.
Whatever you got, start with that.
True. That's the one. That's the one. Okay, I literally have 5 minutes, and I need to go pick up my daughter.
Oh, right. Okay, cool. Okay, we'll start wrapping down. Right then. Well, in that case, real quick, let me ask you this, because I would say that, just going back to martial arts movies for a second.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
favorite fight scene in a martial arts movie it's called Mills and Wills. It is the fight
Oh yeah,
scene, and the film itself it's all right, but there's a
I
fight
love it.
scene with Jackie Chan and Benito Jet Urquidez towards the end of the film. And that, to me, that fight scene was just incredible. I've not seen it for a while, so I don't remember all the specifics. But I remember watching it thinking it was intense. It had drama. It had a storytelling within itself. It was just an incredible fight scene. What is your favorite fight scene in a martial arts movie?
Uh, I'm gonna have a lot. But I have to go back to Jackie Chan and Police Story 2 and that whole playground things. It's one of them. You watch Armor of God? I think
Yeah,
it,
a
what
while
was
ago,
that?
but yeah, yeah.
Was that in Italy or in Spain or something like that? I know it was in Europe somewhere.
I don't
A-
remember, actually.
Anyway,
Yeah.
somebody goes to a cave and lead to a kind of monk temples, and he literally start fighting the monks. And that scene, I like every single bit of that scene. Like they have like a long dinner table, and I like the
Right,
way
okay.
when at some point they play with the zoom. So he's there fighting one guy when this guy is on frame, then it zoom out, and there is another guy behind him. So it's going to be short close, pam, 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 and then open up, and then boom, he kick another one in the back. And I'm like, the way they play with the zoom, like you on frame, you out of frame, you on frame, you out of frame, and I'm like, okay, this is cool, because so many movies when the guy fighting many people, you see the other one in the back waiting for their turn. It
Yeah, yeah,
doesn't really
yeah,
happen.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I hate that all the time. I
Blade.
hate that. But in his movie, they're just like, you're not fighting, you're not on frame. As simple as that. So he's fighting, ba, ba, ba. Open the frame, the guy is there, ba, 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 ba. And I'm like, okay, this is cinema. This is how it's supposed to be. A lot of, I don't know, mainly a lot of, even not Chinese as well, but mainly Americans movie, when they try to do some action, you can see one in the back holding. Okay, you see how much martial art I have. He's holding his sword and he's doing some stuff, just waiting for his
Yeah,
turn. And I'm
yeah.
like,
Yeah, that happens in Blade. In the first Blade movie, there's a bit where you can see a guy just like waiting, and it's so like he's in the background. He's not super obvious, but if you watch it, you'll notice him. He's just kind of while the action's going on, and you can see this guy just waiting, warming up to get ready on. It's like, it's like, dude, come on. But
A
yeah,
lot of them
yeah.
like that. Unfortunately, lots of them like that. But that's, I don't know. It's hard though. It's hard. So much details. So much details. When you film, when you choreograph, when you edit the video, it's just like so much detail everywhere. Like I, I, I kind of laugh when people was like, "Oh, I saw this movie and I saw like this big mistake." I'm like, "Okay, so this is what you saw, but how many mistakes you think this guy corrected in post production?
Yeah.
He probably corrected like 2,000 mistakes. You know, like how to crop this video, how to go back and reshoot. So a lot of people was like, "Oh, it's easy to spot. Yeah, there was a big mistake here. Ha ha ha! Big
Yeah.
production." Like this Starbucks coffee in
Oh,
Game of
Game of
Thrones.
Thrones. Yep. Yep.
I only saw a picture, but I don't even. I haven't seen was it true, or did they correct
I
that one?
didn't see. I never watched Game of Thrones, but I saw the pictures going around of the Starbucks
Yeah,
coffee on the
yeah.
table. But I
So
imagine they've edited it by now anyway. So
so being on set, I know that one acting scene can last the entire day.
yeah, for sure.
Literally, hey, how are you? You are okay? Yeah. What happened with this guy? I don't know. This guy is dead. Oh no, he's not dead. Boom, cut. Only this can last one day. One day. So they're gonna come here, sit down, talk, 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 and at some point the hair from here drop here. So where are you? Okay, with this point in time, so your hair is still here. Talk, talk, talk. Now your hair drawn, so we have to go back, makeup,
Yeah.
put your hair down here. You know what I mean? So this is so hard, and to keep track on all of that. Some point the actor is gonna go somewhere. Okay, we have 2 minute break. Let me have a coffee. Put it
Yeah.
there. Okay, action. And
Whoops.
unfortunately, boom, the cup is still here. So it's very easy to point out the mistake, but people will never know the real struggle.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot. Yeah.
Entire struggle. Nobody will know. So that's why I like to watch this. I'm like, okay, this is funny, but I know in back of my mind that it's like, no,
Yeah.
it's much harder than that. It's much harder than just removing a cup of coffee, because it's they call that the human factors.
Yeah.
You know, it's Robert. Okay, this is A plus B plus 1. Enter. It's just going to do the same things all the time. Human, one time you're going to sit down here. One time it's going to sit down here. One time I'm going to be happy. Next time I'm going to be moody. Anything change. So yeah, human factor, you have to work with it. Good luck.
Yeah. All right, dude. Maiku, thank you for taking some time out to chat with me. I appreciate
Thank you for
doing
inviting.
doing so. Big up to you and everything you do. And yeah, just keep going with the movies. You know, I think you've done a lot over the years, and I guess this is the next step to try something and to take everything you've done and use it in a different way. Well, you know, slightly different way. But yeah, appreciate you stopping by, chatting, sitting down. But yeah,
Cool.
I guess your daughter needs to get picked up from school, so let me not keep you too much longer. But guys, thank you for watching and or listening, and until whenever, if ever, peace.